Don't trust willpower. I'm Joseph. This is Input English. A lot of people feel that they need a lot of willpower in order to learn a new language, particularly one as complex as English. It's not the case. Today I'd like to explain why we don't want to trust willpower. There are much better strategies to ensure your success acquiring the English language. Let's get started. First of all, let's define willpower. Willpower is the ability to consciously control our own behavior. We can further define willpower as the determination to accomplish something very difficult. Based on those two definitions, willpower sounds great. But in the day-to-day, it's not really how it works. We get a lot of information given to us by people we know, by books we read, movies we watch, popular culture. There are many messages that put a lot of emphasis on willpower. A lot of movies have heroes who show tremendous willpower to overcome their bad situation. They prevail because of willpower. Again, in the day-to-day, that's not really the way it works. In a previous video, I showcased Allen's rule. One of my professors taught me a concept years ago that has served quite well. His rule is simple. People do basically what they want to do. What he was pointing out is it's easy for us to do something we want to do, and it takes a lot of effort. It's difficult to do something we don't want to do. So if we accept that observation that it's easy for us to do something we want to do, and it's difficult to do something we don't want to do, we can use that when we take on a project like learning a new language. One of the problems I've observed and has been talked about in the context of willpower is that willpower may not last. It's easy to decide to do something difficult and start doing it. It's harder to keep doing it unless you get some positive feedback that helps to renew your willpower. That's the angle we're going to take here. What are the strategies that we can use so that we can do this long-term project of learning a language over a period of years without exhausting our willpower and quitting? A lot of this is a game of the mind. That is how we think about our language learning process and how we approach it. The first concept is language learning needs to be fun. This is where comprehensible input shines, because good input is fun to absorb. It's fun to watch good videos. It's fun to listen to a good podcast. And it's fun to read a great book. So the first thing we want to do to bolster our willpower and shore it up and make sure that we continue in this long-term project is find the fun. Now here you're in charge because you choose the input. Don't choose input that you think might help you because it looks difficult or challenging. Choose input that seems very interesting to you. Something that's interesting, relatively easy to understand, and something that is presented to you in a compelling way to where you cannot put it down. You cannot walk away from it. This search for fun input that's really interesting was one of the most important things I did learning Spanish. Now, what is fun for you and what is fun for another person are not necessarily going to be the same thing. Input about video games does not keep my interest, but input that is based on stories or interesting information, history for instance, that I find very interesting. The second concept is they said it couldn't be done. People don't expect us to learn another language. So for me, learning Spanish was like a dare. I took the dare. Since people didn't expect me to do it, I wanted to do it. I wanted to be successful. They said it couldn't be done. Related to that is my desire to overcome previous failures. Really, over the years, I have failed more at language learning than I have succeeded. But as we know, previous failures do not predict future failures. And once you have found comprehensible input, your success is very likely if you put in the time. So one of my motivations to be successful learning Spanish is to overcome the defeats that I sustained in the past. For me, previous failure makes a success much sweeter, much more desirable. Another angle on finding motivation, or a substitute for motivation, is thinking about the future. This is where we're allowed to be very selfish. We're allowed to want things for ourselves or our family. One can think about future travel. We can think about the enjoyment we would get from great literature in our new language. We can celebrate our sense of adventure. We can think about opportunities that will come to us because we've acquired our new language. As we approach these ideas, we should maintain realistic expectations. This can be very difficult given the messaging we're getting from the internet. It's very easy to find videos, for instance, which give people incredibly unrealistic pictures of how quickly they can learn and how little effort it is to learn. These sensational messages that we get on the internet tend to be marketing, and they tend to be false. Acquiring a language as complex as English with comprehensible input is not quick, and it doesn't happen without some effort. The trouble with unrealistic goals is when we realize that we did not attain them, we can be disappointed. It can cause stress. It can cause us to doubt our own abilities. If someone has given you an unrealistic expectation, and if you've believed it, and then it is proven to be unrealistic, it's common to doubt oneself. This next one is super important. Habits. Habits are super powerful. I have several videos that talk about habits. I read the book Atomic Habits twice and found it very useful. I read it in English. I read it in Spanish. Atomic Habits is very useful as a tool for learning languages. I gave it double duty. That is, I wanted the information in the book so that I could use habits to my benefit. But then, since my level in Spanish had gotten high enough, I read the book in Spanish, so Atomic Habits became input. It was comprehensible, it was interesting, it was compelling, it was good input for me at that stage. What is useful to understand about habits is they're very durable. If you form good habits, they tend to not easily go away. I think of habits as being much more durable than willpower. Our willpower can flag. It can fall away and not be strong enough. But habits tend to be much more durable. The number one factor in my success learning Spanish was the formation of habits. With comprehensible input, it is important to trust the system. Comprehensible input has strong scientific underpinnings. It's not just someone's opinion. It actually has been proven to work and be effective. When you are trying to learn a language as complex and unpredictable as English, comprehensible input is the way to go. You can't memorize the English language. You can't memorize all the grammar rules and keep track of them while you're listening to people talk and you're trying to formulate your response. In order to function in English, your approach has to be more intuitive than that. The words need to flow out of you. Comprehensible input is the way to go. So once you have realized that, then just trust the system. Again, we have to be careful about the messaging that we get on this subject. In order to get people to click on videos, it is common for people to make sensational content that runs contrary to comprehensible input, that criticizes it. An important thing I did learning Spanish was trust the system. Get the input and watch the language grow in the brain. We need to understand that comprehensible input is a very gradual process. In school, we're used to learning something in a very short period of time, but of course in school, we're only really looking for test performance perhaps a day or two later. So it's a different kind of learning. It's not acquiring. Acquiring a language takes a lot of time. It's very gradual, and we don't want to let impatience derail our program. We need to understand it's gradual. In language learning, it is okay to be selfish. One of my motivations for learning any of the languages I've tried is I wanted it. I wanted to be able to communicate with people. I wanted to be able to understand people. I can remember when I was living in Europe, I marveled at how some of the other foreign students in the university could easily understand the German around them. I wanted that. I wanted to hear the stories, understand them, and laugh at the jokes. It's okay to be a little selfish when it comes to learning language. We do want to celebrate our victories, but since this is a very gradual process, I'm not talking about the victory of becoming fluent. I'm talking about much smaller victories. The first victory I would celebrate is recognition that you've developed habits and that you're using habits, that you're using comprehensible input and you're trusting the system. Because right there, those are victories. Over time, there will be expressions and words that you didn't know in the recent past, but their meaning will become clear to you because you picked it up in context. As you notice these milestones of learning, you can celebrate those as small victories. That I did in Spanish. I think learning English is too important to entrust to willpower. There are many much more powerful techniques you can use to sustain your program. Chief among them would be find fun, interesting content that draws you in so that you look forward to getting more content. Form habits, because habits are much more durable than willpower. and realize that you are a language learner using a great method to acquire English, and your success is inevitable if you put in the time doing those three things. Willpower doesn't turn out to be very important at all. I invite comments below, and if you like videos like this, be sure to click on this one next. See you soon.